Hello, and welcome to Your Brand Express podcast, the podcast where business owners, authors, coaches get a chance to articulate their processes and how they express their brands. With your hosts, Carl and CJ Aline. Get your favorite cup of coffee or tea and get a notepad and enjoy the ride. All right, everyone. We are hanging out. With the lovely and amazing, they're both lovely, they're both amazing, Cristina and Seemore from Thier to Mente. How y'all doing today?
Yeah, Carl, good to see you guys. It's been great. Once again, we saw in the past, I think once, and we're doing great, man. So happy to be here and be part of this beautiful community that you put in together, and hopefully, help a little bit. Giving our experience and our knowledge and whatever people need from us.
Yes.
Right, Cristina?
Yes, I'm so happy to be here too. And so nice to connect with you guys again. And I really love what you guys are doing. So it's a privilege to be here with you.
Oh, thank you so much. What do you guys do? What you guys do is awesome. I've been seeing you guys online, seeing you all on the big stages and just expressing your brands. And it's just been amazing to see. I'm like, man, I wish I was there. I need to get on the plane and fly on over. I need to fly on over and join the party because you guys are having too much fun. I'm just saying.
Yes, I'm telling you. No, I don't know. The universe, when it moves, puts you in places that what am I doing here? So we've been sharing big stages here in Spain, especially in Italy as well. And we've been working in Estonia. Yeah, we've been working with big names like companies that hire us to deliver information and really try to help their own clients to get this mindset, to get this inspiration they need to move forward and really, believe in themselves, and which is part of the game. If you do not believe in yourself, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. So the first thing you got to do is believe in yourself. And by being on the stage and show people what you can do. This is something that anybody can do it. We're not special. We don't have anything that someone else don't have or can't have. What we do is just show people, listen, we are here because we've been pushing hard and learning, developing the skills that we all can learn to be able to do this. This is a dream that came true because in the past, we've been really setting up goals for us to, accomplish something like we are doing right now. Right, Cristina?
Yeah. And it's a journey. Some people sometimes see the end result when people get success, whatever that means to different people. But it's a journey, and it's a journey, I think, that never ends. And you set goals and you work towards them. And sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. And there's a reason, there's a learning. And if you take the learning, then you keep moving forward. And I think it's just enjoying the process, the journey.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company? Because I've seen what you do online, and I mean, this is just from a visual standpoint. It just seems so vibrant and amazing. Can you tell our audience about what you do?
Sure, Carl, no problem. Man, let's see. Thier to Mente, that's Spanish. We're based here in Barcelona, in Spain. And so Thier to Mente is Spanish for you and your brain, you and your mind inside. Because for us, what is inside there between your ears is the most important thing. That's the engine, that move the whole machinery. So if whatever is inside there is not working well, nothing is going to work well. So Thier to Mente coaching was created with the idea of helping people to understand that the mindset is very, very, very important. You need to work first what is in there, then you can, start taking action to really build whatever, you want to build. Whether it's a business, whether it's a new life or new relationship or whatever. You need to change your mind. Your mindset is the most important thing. And from that on, you can do anything. The very first, like at 6 years ago, when we decided to do this, and when we became certified coaches, at the beginning it was only like life coaches. We were just dealing with people with life problems, whatever they wanted to work on. And then eventually we transitioned to entrepreneurs. Why? Because that was the problem that we had. We were like, if we really want to create this company and become like business owners, we need to learn this. So what a better way to start working with business owners? So we see what we had in common, how we could help them developing the skills that they needed to make this thing happen. So that forced us to start learning different skills, to start going to different trainings and so forth, so we could help better and serve better our clients. Right, Cristina?
Yeah. And I think also we mix a set of skills because, as you know, we have different backgrounds from engineering to dancing so we mix it all into this knowledge and way of serving. And one thing that we also add to all of these is not only working just on the mindset, but working on the mindset also from the body. And so we've brought like workshops that we took to Mind Valley. I don't know if you know Mind Valley, but it's a big company and they have these events. So we've been working, bringing this type of workshops there where we also work with the body and the dancing and the music and just work. And we have entrepreneurs there, and the shift that they can make, it's amazing to witness. And then we also work with two other companies, big companies. One is from Italy, another one is from Spain. And that's some of the stages that you've seen lately, where we do some training for them, and we're also coaches for them. And so it's an amazing journey these last 6 years.
It's been cool. It's been so nice. It's a bless. It's been blessing times. It's been so cool. And as a matter of fact, just an hour ago, 2 hours ago, we had a meeting with a new company who wanted to hire us as a coaches and put together like a training for their clients. And so it's been like, well, yes, let's do it. Yeah, no problem. They saw us in one of these events, and then they wanted us to do the same for them. So that's a global thing, and which is even more, in a way, it's scary, I would say, but in a good way. Yeah. Scary in a good way.
It's a good challenge.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Oh man, with all you all said, there's so many cool things to unpack with what you said. But when I hear what you just mentioned, it just reminds me of the fact that you all bring a wholeness. You all have that gift and that ability to bring a wholeness to people. Because we live in a society where you got to niche down, you got to be only this and stay in that box. But what happens with that is people can tend to forget, right, that we're whole beings. Mm-hmm. We're not just this, we're not just that, we're whole beings. And for those who don't know, we go back. We're we'll take a minute and go from Spain back to Boston or back to Cambridge. Yeah. Y'all used to teach dance there, and that's how we met. We met in the dance world. Okay, so we go back to Spain. Yeah. So, but it's cool what you all do, and you're able to bring dance into it. You're able to bring the coaching into it, and I'm pretty sure people walk away feeling so inspired, even with the idea of confidence, because we know as dancers, when you teach someone dance and they come from a spot of not knowing how to dance to knowing how to dance, that builds a whole other level of confidence as well, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
But even there's so many other things you can bring with the dancing and the movement, like the workshop that we do is called, well, now I'm going into another route, but we'll go back to these other things that you're talking about. But the Kokoro Kaisen, we did one in Tallinn last summer with Mind Valley, and there was these entrepreneurs, and they practice being spontaneous, being present in the moment. And that's the one thing they took from that workshop. They wanted to experience something that was completely out of their comfort zone. They never danced, never. It was not in their mind to go dancing or do anything that had movement. And so for them, that experience was breaking the comfort zone and being in the moment, spontaneous. Just, okay, let's do this, let's do it. And so there's so many things you can get out of that. It's not just, I'm going to build my muscles and my, I don't know, different things that people can come out with. But there's so many things that can come. Forgiveness, like we do like a little forgiveness at the end. And then people let go of so many things. And that has an impact in their whole life, even in their business, in their work. Yeah. And so there's so many things you can work from there.
Do your best and forget the rest. No, I never dance. I don't. So what? That's life, man. Sometimes life put in front of you things that you never thought that were going to be there. What are you going to do? Run away? No, it's part of your mindset. You take it. Bring it on, baby. I don't know what is going to happen. I'm just going to do my best, and I'm just going to forget the rest. And, knuckle down. Just go through. Just break through. Do this. This is a challenge that life is putting in front of you. Now it's time to act. It's time to show yourself and everyone else what you're capable of. Go ahead, do it.
Dag, I'm inspired. I'm ready to get up and do something.
Do your best, forget the rest. That's a good, like that.
It, man.
Love that. So, before CJ's going to ask another question, but I'm going to ask a question to you. So what inspired you all to become, to go into the personal development realm of coaching people in that direction?
Well, we truly believe that whatever you want to learn, you want to teach. By teaching that, you're forcing yourself to really, really make sure that you understand and you know what it takes to do whatever you want. So that's what we thought. Okay, if we really want to become business owners, we need to understand how to do this. And the best way to do this is teach it. So we start teaching, to start taking courses, getting training, and then passing on the knowledge, working with clients, telling the clients, okay, at what stage are you at? What's going on in your company? Why do you want to do this? How do you, program your time? How do you put your objetivos, goals? There we go.
Oh my God.
Say it in Spanish too. I want to hear that. Say it in Spanish too.
Objetivos.
Hey. I can only say it in English, so I'm inspired. You can do it in Spanish and English.
Spanglish.
English.
Yeah. So sometimes people come and say, "Well, listen, I have a problem." Well, tell me your goals. What do you mean goals? Yes. Well, what are your goals for this month, for this quarter, for the this week, today? Well, I'm just working on and anything that has to be done. Oh, that's not good strategy, man. Let me tell you. No. You need to know exactly. When you have GPS and you do not tell the GPS where you want to go, it will never take you anywhere because it doesn't know where to take you from. He knows where you are, but the GPS, unless you tell them where to go, which is inside here, it will never take you there because it doesn't know. So you need to know. You need to really clarify your goals. You need to know where you want to go and why. The most important thing is why you want to go there, because that is what motivation inside of yourself to go there. It's not actually the goal itself. It is the why that move you and, make you in the morning, wake up, get up and go for it, because you need to accomplish this, because the reasons goes first. And then whatever happens. You never, sometimes you do not control what's going on in your life or what the outcome is, but you always control what's inside in there and the motivation that you have.
I love what you mentioned, and it's so powerful that you can teach people and bring people from one place to the next. And I love how you talk about how it starts with the mind. We talked to another a psychologist actually, and that's what he talked about too. But it's interesting. People, it's not always the most attractive thing, but it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We were actually talking about these recently, that there's 3 things to work on. One is you, then your abilities, and then your business. And they're 3 separate things, and you always work on the 3 of them. So you means your mindset, your physics, your nutrition, your all these things that is your vehicle here. Make it work the best way. So this is not the problem. And this is part of the solution and not part of the problem. And then you work on your abilities. If you want to be a YouTuber, then what does it take to be a YouTuber? If you want to be a doctor, what does it take to, what abilities do you need to become a doctor? If you want to be an accountant, what does it take to be an accountant? You want to be a dancer? What does it take? And then your business. Then if you want to make money out of that, then you need to learn the business related to that thing. So if you want to be a dancer, well, what do you need to earn money being a dancer? What are your options? Who can you contact? Where can you teach? What type of teaching, etc., etc. And the same thing happens. I mean, it's applicable to coaching, to YouTubing, to anything. You need to work on those 3 things all the time. And sometimes you will put the focus more on one thing. So if suddenly you want to start a new thing and you need the abilities, then you're going to focus on what abilities do I need and putting more time there. If you're starting a business, then okay, my focus is going to be on the business part. But you always need to be looking at those 3 parts.
Right. I like that. Those are like 3 important things that can kind of mix sometimes. Sometimes you could put like yourself in the business, and if that's not doing well, then you're not going to do well. You can make it kind of fluctuate just like the business can. And I think I like how you just like kind of made it 3 different points so that you chip in here, you chip in here, you chip in here, rather than like put yourself in this category and like make, if this doesn't work, then you don't work, like sometimes it could just like a balance.
Yeah.
Yep, totally. It's very, very important. One thing is, the skills that you need to acquire, and then the business that you want to run. Different. It's just totally different. You need to be able to separate them both and understand that you need to work on building both at the same time. Don't not neglect one thing because this is more important. No. Don't make that mistake. They both are important. You need to work on both so they both can at some point, yes, become together, but you working on them separately because that's very important.
Yeah, and if you don't believe that you can create something, then you need to work on you first, because that's going to be the 20% that is going to move you 80%. If you don't believe it's going to happen, then you need to work on those beliefs, because that's going to make you move faster. And that's the you part. So when you are at a break point, it's good to analyze, okay, which of the 3 is not working, or so I know where do I need to put more focus on, and where is the 20% that I can focus on that is going to move the rest of the 80%.
Oof.
Wow.
And that's so cool, because with what you said, what you just mentioned, it's like you're making it's what people may consider not tangible, but you make it tangible, you make it attainable, and you simplify it, and you make it into like pillars. And that kind of, at the end of the day, that makes it so doable. Like I don't think I've ever heard it like that,
Right.
And that's pretty cool. CJ, you had a question?
Yeah. So I've heard this quote from NBA player Draymond Green that like 50% of the game is like mental and like 50% is like physical. Like you can be capable of doing something like physically, but like if you're not in the right headspace, it's just like how do I do this? My question is like, how do you help people break that barrier of like not being able to do it mentally and like help them build their confidence?
Okay, the first thing, CJ, that we do, I tell myself, is I ask, so what is it that you want to accomplish? Sometimes people don't have that clear. If they don't have that clarity in what is it that they want, you will never be able to break through something that you don't see. If you don't know what it is, you will never go there. So that level of clarity is very important. They need to be able to tell, this is it. This is it. Because sometimes people tell you what they don't want, but they never tell you what is it that you want instead? And so once you have that clarity and you know exactly, and you can tell exactly what is it, then the next step is, okay, why you, or what is it that is preventing you for getting this very thing that you said that you want? What's in the way? So let's work on that. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. What is exactly is that is preventing you for getting what you want? So then the next step is, okay, now it's about building confidence. So once you define what is it that is stopping you, and exactly what you want, then what is it that is preventing you for getting that? And then now, what do you need? What skill set that you need? What abilities you need to be working on to be able to accomplish this and bring it, into your life and make it happen. So that's at least that's the way I see it. That's the way I do it. How about you, Cristina?
Yeah, and many times, I think with our clients, we see it all the time. Many times, is beliefs and values that are conflict. Either the beliefs are not helping them, or they have values that are conflicting. And when there's a conflict of values or a conflict of two things, then people get stuck and they don't move forward and they don't find a way. But it's really because there's two things that are pulling in different directions. And then which decision they take, they're like, do I go here or here? And they're both pulling, and so they're just staying in place. And then once, through coaching and through exercises, they get clarity, like Seemore is saying, then it's much easier. Okay, now I know. Or they get a different perspective, and just getting a slightly different perspective can make them see the way. But they got stuck in some belief, some value, some way of seeing things. And then, through questions, through different things, we work with them, and then they shift their mind just a little bit, just like 1%. It's enough to just keep moving forward.
Wow. Just 1% is enough.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's a huge deal.
I can give you an example, for example, that is very tangible. This was kind of like a coaching for a friend, and it's related with Ukraine. And so I put this example because it's so clear. We had a friend who was she had to flee from Ukraine, and she had elderly parents and then a young boy. And so the boy could not leave. He's 22, so he could not leave Ukraine. And they managed to get out to a city that is closer to the border. And then she was trying to find a way to get out of out to Poland and bring her parents. And she couldn't. She was telling me, like, everything that I do falls apart. And it was like, nothing works. And I did this and it didn't work. And I did that and it didn't work. And so then we said, okay, slow down. So you have your parents who you want to put in a safe place, and that means leaving the country. And you have your son who cannot leave the country, and you are in the middle. So you're not going to go because they're pulling you in different directions. And so then for her, leaving the country meant leaving forever her son. And that was too much for her. So then we work on changing the perspective of saying, okay, you're not leaving your son. You're just going to Poland and coming back. The next day, she was out of Poland. And so that was a conflict for her, having those two things pulling in different directions. And that happens many times. We have things pulling, and so then nothing works because our subconscious is not wanting to move because they're pulling in different directions. And then once you make a shift, that was just, she didn't change anything. The war didn't change, the situation didn't change, but just she saw things just a little bit different, meaning that she could come back. And actually she did. And so, but that gave her enough change that she could make it happen, and just, okay, now she took the parents and they left. She was away for a little while. She came back, and she came back a couple of times. And then eventually she moved back to Kiev. But that's how powerful it is, just reframing a slight percent. You haven't done anything. You haven't, done a whole work. It's just a shift in perspective. And that can make you move forward and break through.
Wow. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And I think about, even in our society, when even as a coach, me as a coach, You know, I notice even for myself, when I'm teaching something and I'm showing something, sometimes we can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 steps. And even that perspective of saying, hey, what about this 1%? Try shifting this 1%, making that 1% shift. And that makes all the difference. What I'm hearing is like, wow, how that's simple, making it simple for people and doable. It's cool how you all do that.
Yeah, and I have learned so much with this case because it was going back to the basics. Because this person also, I reached out to her to see how she was doing, and it was at the beginning of the war, and she allows me to share this. And so she was in complete panic, and she's a normal citizen, she has a career, she's working for a international company, and just normal life, and then suddenly you have to deal with war. And so she was telling me, like, I am a coward because I don't know how to confront this thing. I don't know what to do. And so then we went back to the basics. Okay, did you take courses on how to be on a war? And she's like, no. Well, then
Can
you
you
don't
be a
know.
soldier? You've been trained to be a
So
military person?
you don't have the abilities. You don't have the skills. Okay, so let's develop some skills. Okay, so what is the basic? Okay, do you have water?
Yeah.
How do you store water? How do you sleep at night? Where do you sleep that is safe? And so you go back to the basics. You're not, you can, in those situations, you cannot go like, okay, now let's visualize. No, forget it. Let's go back to the basics. How are we going to deal with this panic? Okay, so do you know how to breathe? Okay, so just keep breathing, so you go back to the basics. And I think sometimes we forget that all these complex things, sometimes we have to go back to the basic. What is the simple step that you can take with this person so that they move forward? And in that moment, it was, okay, water. How do you store the water? And that just calmed her down to, okay, let's go back to the basics. What do I need? And that just took her out of the thinking, I am a coward, I don't know how to do this, and And so sometimes you have to take your clients back to step one, and what is the smallest step that you can take? And let's move that.
Wow. That's helpful for me as a coach. Because what I find too is in the journey, right? Like whether it's a customer journey or a client journey or someone your coach's journey, whether if they're on the journey, they get to like 1/3 of the journey or even not even that far. And it's easy to get stuck. So how do you help someone to get unstuck? And even what I'm hearing from you is going back to the basics. That simple principle of going back to the basics, that does so much for people. Mm-hmm. Now tell me a secret. You guys use that principle from your dance instruction, right?
Totally, because
yeah.
Part of my background, I'm a black belt in karate and taekwondo. And I remember my sensei saying, you never stop being a student. I don't care if you're a black belt, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 10th degrees. You never stop being a student. And you never stop practicing fundamentals. Fundamentals is the base. The difference between a white belt and a black belt is not actually, the punches and the kicks. And no, is the execution of this by doing exactly the same. So by working on the fundamentals, you will always be able to perform better by just working on the fundamentals. Then, of course, eventually you need to start to bring some other elements to the dance so you can improve, but you never stop practicing and doing fundamentals. So that's what we do in dancing. The first thing I said, okay, what's the basics? What's the fundamental? What is it that these people need first before they start moving gracefully and doing all these things? So that allowed us to create a different way of teaching, a methodology. So the people always go from here. You always do this first. You learn how to do fundamentals. You understand the dance. You understand the music. You understand the interaction, because we do couple dance. You understand the interaction between the couple. What is it that leaders does? What is it that follower does? And then you start, putting things together until it becomes these fun, beautiful things that we call, whatever, salsa, bachata, merengue, or whatever the kizomba, whatever the dances that we do. So always go back to fundamentals. Never leave fundamentals. Basics are very important. Same
I
thing.
love it.
Yep.
Always have something to fall back on. Need that for sure. Definitely need that.
Yeah. No, I love it. But it's cool to see how. Hey, audience, I'm not sure if you got that. Like, listen, that's huge. Like even the principles, like Seemore took with martial arts and dancing and now with coaching with leaders too. You always going back to the basics and the importance of that and what that does for you and the possibility that helps you to get unstuck when you get stuck.
Yeah.
And
these fundamentals are not shiny, they're not new, they're not fancy, they might not be fun, but they're so important. So fundamental. Yeah.
Right. And we need to be reminded of them all the time. Yeah. I mean, hearing you, I'm reminded. I'm like, oh, snap. I need to remember this. This is important,
It is.
Yeah, we all need to get reminded, once in a while.
It is.
Right. And so with motivation, like even with what we're talking about, I think about motivation, and motivation is so important. Like Seemore, you mentioned what's your why, right? Like with what we do, with our audience, we have authors, podcasters, coaches, and speakers as well. Like, what would you say is what helps you to, or what would you say helps people to stay motivated, or can help people to stay motivated? Because you know how it is. What we do, the energy can go down. This is a great case in point. It's February right now, right? A lot of people start off with goals, even in the business world. And then now it's February. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have slacked off on their goals. Like, what would you say is helpful for people to stay motivated and keep the energy high?
Yeah, we're going back to tell me your why. Why are you doing this? If your why big enough to, motivate you to get up and start taking action. If it's not, then you need to find a big why, because when you don't feel that doing things, when things get really hard, when someone comes and say, no, you can't do that, then what are you going to do? Give up? Giving up is not an option. Forget about giving up, man, because you have a why, and your why needs to be big. So whatever happens in here, you have to be able to, okay, I'm going to find a way. If I can do it this way, I'm going to try this. If it doesn't work, guess what? You're going to try in a different way and try in a different way. And giving up is not an option, because my why, I'll give you an example. Right now, at this stage of my life, as you get older, I feel safe and good. And, my life is, thank you, God, for this life that I have. But I know, I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I know I'm going to become an old guy. And what is going to happen when I go there? My dad is 84 right now, and he has Alzheimer's. So it's a different person. It's not the same. It's not the same person I grew up with. My dad is, when you talk to him, he is partially gone. He is not the same, and then I was like, well, what happened if I get into my 80s and happen the same to me? How can I prevent that? So right now, this is the time to start thinking about when I turn 80. Right now I'm 57. So it's not too far away, man. I gotta start working hard for this. So my why right now is, I said, when I get into my really 80s or 90s, God, let me do that. I want to get there, but in good shape. So I'm working out every single day, mentally and physically. So when I get there, and that's my why. And I said, it's not fair for my children or for Cristina to start getting worried about me getting into an institution because they cannot take care of me anymore. And they need to start finding the money to pay for that. No, I want to make the money now. So whatever it takes, I want them to hire people and come to my house and get paid. And all the money is going to come out of my wallet because I'm working hard for that. Because it's not fair for them to start worrying about, well, now what will we do? You know, are we getting a loan? What is it? No, don't worry about it. I take care of that right now. This is the time. So my why right now, why I'm working so hard, why I'm looking for new ways to make money, why I'm looking for new clients, and because my why, you know, as soon as I wake up, open my eyes, I get up and I said, okay, Seemore, it's time to start working. Remember, in 30 years from now, you're going to be able to take care of yourself. And by doing that, this is the time to do it. That's my why. So it doesn't matter what happens right now. I have to find a way to make it happen. You know, I cannot give up. Throwing the towel is not an option. Giving up, no. Winners never quit, because quitters never win. And that's something I learned. You know? That's how I got my medals. That's got my trophies, my titles. Winners never quit, because quitters never win. So you got to keep going. You got to keep trying. You got to keep training. You got to working hard is the way. I don't know any other way. So yeah, I would say that would be.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. Because I heard two things. You know, one, you know, we're going back to that why. But you know, when we talked about why earlier in this episode, it was why. Now it's like, look, why? It's like you're hearing you. It's like it in my mind, it made the why be expanded more. You know, and it's cool to see how you broke down your why, and that was a great example. You know, but even when you know you have the self-talk with yourself, it's not I need to do this or I need to do that. It's like you have it's like an affirmation you gave yourself. I need to do this because I'm going to have provided enough and would have made this amount of money. It's cool to hear that. I've never heard that. And it's like a whole other level of affirmation that I could give myself when it comes to my self-talk.
So no matter what happens right now in my life, I need to find a way to make this happen and work, because my why is not now. My why is in 30, 35 years. That's my why is in there. So I got to keep moving forward. I got to go there. I got to find a way to get there. It's not right now. So, you know, I got to find a way. There's not another option. There's not, and you know, and giving up is not an option.
Wow, good stuff. That is good stuff, man. That's inspiring. Audience, you guys gotta let's apply that. You know, we only make the goals, right? But that's powerful. It makes it causes you to own it more. That's what I love about it. Man, good stuff.
Makes it more personal. Yeah, definitely.
Makes it more personal.
Exactly, more personal.
Yeah.
It's about you and your goals and what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Is not about whatever the world or the universe throw at you. No, it's about you and what you want to do. So it doesn't matter what is in front of you. You know, you gotta break through. You gotta go. You gotta fight. You gotta go fight for yourself, for your why.
And that brings another element of this motivation thing is, where is your focus? Because if your focus is on the hard thing that you need to do to get there, then you're going to throw the towel sooner. But if your focus is, I want to be there with, good health, I want to be there so nobody has to support me with enough money, I want to be there, then your focus is on the end result and not on what you need to do. And that also helps you to move forward. Your focus is on the result, not on the task that you need to do. I need to go to the gym and then I need to grab my clothes, I need to take the car. No, you are going to the gym and you're going to feel great afterwards. So you focus on that. And so that's where you put the energy, and that's going to make it easier for you to stick to that thing. And then creating a system that's going to support you there, make it easy for you. If you make it harder for yourself, then yeah, it's going to be harder to do all the motivation. But if you create systems that support all these things that you want to do, that are going to take you to that why that you said you were going to, accomplish, then it's going to make it much easier too. So it's the motivation is the first thing. And if you make it big, it's going to pull instead of you needing to be pushed. And then if you keep the focus there and you create the systems, then that's going to make it, so much easier to take you there.
Going back to systems, that's very important. Systems are better than habits, because the systems are going to build up the habits that you need. Once you put a systems in place, it doesn't, you don't need to think about anything. Just do whatever your system says. Like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Cristina and us, we get up, we meditate, we do these things, and then immediately working out. So what time is it? It's time to work out. It doesn't matter what the time is. It's time. So we know there are 35 to 40 minutes ahead of us that we should be working on. And then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm lifting weights because, I want to feel strong. Right? Well, so when we work out together, it's more like a functional training. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm lifting weights, man. I'm lifting weights. I'm getting strong, feeling strong, telling myself I got to do this. Sometimes, of course, I get up and I don't feel like doing this. Who cares? No one is asking you if you feel like doing it. You go and do it, because you're 35 years from now, you need to be able to be in shape to be there. You told yourself you were going to do this. You told yourself, no matter what happens, you're going to do this. Get up and go. Because, sometimes here it's like in Boston, it's super cold. It's, below 0 degrees and it's freezing. And the studio that we have is not too far away. It's like 15 minutes walk from here. So, and I know I have to walk there. I'm not allowing myself to take the car. So I need to walk. It doesn't matter. It's raining. Sorry. It's cold. Sorry. It's way too hot. Sorry. You got to do it. Go and do it. Why? Because you said you were going to do it. And that's what you do. Seemore Johnson said that he was going to do this, and Seemore Johnson will do it. Because this is what I do. This is who I am, and this is what I do. Go and do it. Period.
Period.
I love
Period.
That.
Ah,
Man.
that was good, man.
Yeah.
Red
Structure and discipline. Like, you have like structure that literally that's exactly what you said. The structure is like really like the catalyst to having habits. Like you can't build habits without any structure, or else it's just gonna like excuses and just like your feelings will kick in easily. But if you have a structure where it's like, no, this is not gonna change. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I just like that right there. That's
And don't let anything or nobody get in between you and your structure or your system. No. What a system does is will guarantee a result. So if you want a certain result, you need to do your systems. If you let anybody or anything to break your system, you're not going to get the same result. So, you can't afford to do that. No. Nobody's getting into that. I got to do my thing. And when I finish my thing, my system, every step in my steps, then we can talk. Then we can do things. Otherwise, it's not worth it. It's to risk it. You can't take that risk. It's going to break your system. And then the result is not going to be the same. So don't risk it. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't allow that to happen.
And the thing also is, once you have a system and you have set up everything and you start doing it, and then for whatever reason you skip something or you don't do it, don't beat yourself up. Just get up the next day and start again. And I think that for me is the better definition of courage. is when you fail and you just get up the next day and you do it again. And you don't spend time like, okay, the system is not working. I am not this. I am not that. My identity is not this. No, forget it. Just get up the next day and you start up again and you keep going. And so, is there anything I need to learn? Is there anything I need to revise? But then just do it again. Don't beat yourself up. Don't spend time there. It's just a waste of energy. It's just, if there's something to learn, yes, learn. If there's something to improve in your system, sure, improve your system. But that's it. Just move on.
Adding to that also, if you fail once, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But if you fail twice, you're building a habit. So watch out. Be very, very, very careful. Once it's okay, twice is a habit. And then, pretty soon you get into the habit of breaking this thing, and then the result is not going to be good for you. That's important. That's part of your mindset as well.
I love how you use that word systems, though. That's pretty cool, because we think about that with businesses and cars and machinery, right? Computers.
Yeah.
But what about the most important assets we have? Why can't we create systems with the most important assets that we have? Our minds, our beings, our bodies, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I just never made that connection. Creating systems for yourself to be successful. And I love when you said it, they guarantee success.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love that. So, question is that, if one wants to go online and try to find this dynamic duo, where would one go to find you?
Well, I think the easiest will be Tuitumente Coaching, the website, right?
Tuitumente.com.
Tuitumente.com.
Yeah, we have both. Tuitumente Coaching.
It could be Instagram as well, no?
Yeah,
it could
be Instagram. Tuitumente. And then there's the podcast, Change Maker's Mind.
The Change Maker Mind.
Yeah.
Could be another way.
Podcast, that's
Seemore Johnson and Cristina, because we've been doing the dancing thing. So people are gonna find out, because we've been doing dancing for like 25, a quarter, 26 years when we met you, Carl. So we've been here long enough to Google our names and show up, because we've been in 22 countries teaching, and so there are a lot of videos and stuff. So people will just by Googling our names, Seemore Johnson and Cristina Pujol, they're gonna find us.
Yeah.
And then if they want to see our coaching business part, then Tuitumente will be the way.
Yeah.
I love it. There you have it. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you're listening to any of our platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whichever one, please be so kind to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed the podcast. And we'll talk to you soon.